In an instant, he was taught how to use the power from the cube. Now, he could move through different spaces. But he still needed more time to practice and make it more fluid. Suddenly, the cube notified him that it was running low on energy, meaning that each time he teleported, it could only last for a minute. This made Chao Tu realize that he couldn't use the power recklessly unless it was absolutely necessary. He had to conserve the energy. The most important thing now was to figure out how to precisely determine his teleportation destination. Without careful practice, he could end up in dangerous situations. The cube quickly suggested that Chao Tu could use microwave radiation to sense objects within the teleportation range. However, the part of his body that used this ability was not his eyes but the core of his body. In theory, Chao Tu could see anything within a 15-meter radius. He tried it out and was amazed at how clearly he could see everything. Even the actions of people and small cats hiding in trees. However, constantly using this power drained him quickly. As a beginner, this was especially difficult. Fatigue soon set in, and Chao Tu felt his heart tighten. His face turned pale, and he suddenly collapsed to the ground, no matter how much the cube kept calling him. When he woke up, he found himself lying on a bed. He asked the cube if he was okay, but it only told him to rest. Chao Tu, still confused, wondered how the cube could leave his body. The cube, or Heya as it was called, explained that if it stayed inside him too long, it would drain Chao Tu's energy. If he died from exhaustion, Heya would be destroyed along with him. In Chao Tu's weakened state, leaving his body was the best option. Chao Tu touched Heya and suddenly realized that he truly had superpowers. Excited, he sat down at his computer and searched for the creator of Heya. But Heya calmly responded that Chao Tu would never be able to find its creator. As he was flooded with questions, his phone suddenly buzzed. Shen Zhao texted him, reminding him to rest and asking if they could have dinner together tomorrow night, which made him smile broadly. While reading the message, Chao Tu remembered the time he was beaten by the gang. He made a resolution not to let them bother Shen Zhao anymore. But life wasn't as simple as he wished. The power from Heya had depleted quickly, which wasn't good. Chao Tu immediately called out to Heya to ask how to increase his strength. Heya explained that it had an upgrade system. All Chao Tu had to do was absorb energy gemstones, and his strength would greatly increase, as would the cube's abilities. To put it simply, he needed gemstones. Chao Tu, frustrated, scolded Heya for not mentioning this sooner. Heya continued, explaining that energy gemstones were the most ancient material in the world. In theory, even ordinary stones found by the roadside contain some potential energy. But to fully unleash their power, special gemstones were required. Heya scanned the room and suddenly noticed several gemstones in Chao Tu's parents' collection, suggesting they could be used for upgrades. Chao Tu felt a little helpless but decided to act quickly. Thus began the journey of training to enhance his power. A journey to fulfill his wish of becoming the ruler of the world. He was excited but also felt some fear. In truth, Chao Tu only had one desire: to protect Shen Zhao. Everything else didn't matter to him as much. Heya advised Chao Tu that the world was more complicated than he thought. If he truly wanted to protect Shen Zhao, he would need absolute power and must never lose to anyone. First, Heya suggested that Chao Tu use microwave radiation to observe the environment. He began sensing everything and discovered an orange stone. It seemed ordinary, but it was actually a primary gemstone used for upgrades. Following He's instructions, Chao Tu inserted the stone into a spatial portal. Instantly, the stone was absorbed, and the surrounding space began to change. Lightning crackled around as an unusual energy surged through Chao Tu's body, making him feel his power growing. It seemed like his DNA was also gradually changing. According to Heya, this change would perfectly enhance his fighting abilities. The next morning, Chao Tu was late for school due to his excitement the night before. But when he saw Shen Zhao, all his thoughts vanished, and his heartbeat sped up, causing Heya to warn him about the instability of his heart rate. Meanwhile, everyone was teasing him, and both Chao Tu and Shen Zhao turned red. Suddenly, a shadow was thrown into the classroom. It was the gang led by Sun Jun, who seemed to want to do something to Chao Tu, perhaps seeking revenge. As he focused on Chao Tu, who was hiding behind a book, Chao Tu pretended not to notice. which made Sun Jun furious. He approached, intending to grab Chao Tu. But Chao Tu remained calm. Heya casually reassured him, saying that with the energy provided by Heya, Chao Tu could easily defeat the 5 weaklings with the strength of 1. Shen Zhao stood up, pleading with Sun Jun not to cause trouble anymore. He continued to taunt Chao Tu, calling him a coward who only gets protected by women. Chao Tu had no choice but to step forward and protect her. Sun Jun grabbed Chao Tu by the collar, preparing to strike, but Chao Tu swiftly knocked his hand away and gave him a warning, causing Sun Jun to become even angrier. Just as the situation was escalating, the teacher entered the room, forcing Sun Jun to stop. Before leaving, Sun Jun threatened Chao Tu to meet him on the basketball court after school. Sun Jun had already prepared everything to make Chao Tu pay dearly. After leaving class, Chao Tu was immediately surrounded by Sun Jun's gang. Heya analyzed that there were about 13 people, all underlings of Sun Jun, and Chao Tu's chances of winning were only 20%. Making him nervous, realizing that they outnumbered him, Chao Tu immediately provoked Sun Jun, saying that a boss who wouldn't fight himself was truly pathetic. This provocation made Sun Jun furious. Suddenly, a muscular thug from his gang stepped forward, intending to teach Chao Tu a lesson on Sun Jun's behalf. Heya analyzed that this thug's strength was around 30, which made Chao Tu sigh in relief. The thug threw a ball toward Chao Tu and then rushed at him with a punch. But Chao Tu quickly dodged. Meanwhile, Shen Zhao, worried, kept calling Chao Tu, but he didn't answer as he was busy fighting. The thug, sweating heavily, was growing angrier after Chao Tu toyed with him. He finally decided to finish the fight. But Chao Tu simply threw a light uppercut to his chin, knocking the thug out cold. Everyone around was stunned, watching as the thug fell easily. Sun Jun's gang was now afraid because there was no one stronger than the thug who had just been knocked out. With no other option, Sun Jun gritted his teeth, glared at Chao Tu, and ordered his gang to advance. The real fight was just beginning, and Heya analyzed that Chao Tu's chances of winning had only increased by 10%.